young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harman Welshi tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secret.
Hardcore!
Is it?
It's hardcore!
You're just gonna keep saying it's hardcore, aren't you?
Skibbity, skibberdanger. I am the rearranger.
Your cop training did not prepare you for this. What to do? Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you think?
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading.
Sign?
Yeah, gotta compare. See if we can align.
Interesting.
I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. But I'll see what I can do.
I saw a sticker on the padlock. Can you tell me anything about it?
A sticker? You mean the yellow one? Can you describe it to me?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Why describe it if you already know what I mean?
So I can hear you do it. Sometimes the outside gaze helps us reflect on things.
Noid, don't bother our guests with your games.
Piss off, Andre. Me and Mr. Cop are trying to discuss art.
You shouldn't talk like that.
I don't mind a little foul language here and there.
Cool. The ban on foulness. That's the moralists' plot to alienate us from our bodily functions so they can control us more fully. Anyhow, what was the sticker like?
Okay, it's a yellow circle, the human face, with X's for eyes and a smile underneath. I think the X's mean the guy's dead.
Good, good. What did you want to know?
Was I right? Is the dead guy smiling?
Yes, you're the 23rd person to get it right. And I've asked 23 people. Looks like it's a dead guy smiling to the entire human race.
Why do you think that's so?
We're all the same. Same eyes, same smiles, same death.
Okay, what does it mean?
He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we ever smile then? Because history is a lie, and so are its deaths. The present moment and life are the hardcore. The hardcore expels death. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats.
Or drugged out of his mind, come to think of it.
I'm thinking maybe the smiling dead guy is a symbol for communism. It's also dead, but doesn't care.
Yeah, that interpretation holds.
What makes the sticker so modern?
Simplicity was brought to us by classical soul artist modernism, but that was a tasteful, harmonious simplicity, right? Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. It's a warning shot. This will be dangerous. The echo of man's loss, haunting him. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing.
Seems awesome.
It is.
Think we've exhausted the subject for now.
I guess one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for?
What about now? Are the signs alright now?
Nah. Still strongly out of sync. Stage gamma disalignment.
What?
You heard me.
Tell me about the machines you saw in the church.
Weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked up Samaran science sign. You know, The kind that goes head first into the supernatural.
The People's Republic of Samara is a product of Revachel's sister revolution on the Grand Isola. It's known as a severely degenerated rogue state.
Don't be too hard on Samara. They're all alone in the world. Half of what we know of them is just propaganda.
I know, man. I was just talking about the aesthetic.
What's wrong with the supernatural?
Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched. You can still do sick shit with it, though.
The sickest. That's perhaps why it should be researched.
The supernatural. So you think it's real? That it actually exists?
Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the plebs. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human, folk rights, that kind of stuff.
Why you called Noid?
The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at this moment.
It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without some adjustment.
Does this mean we need sign matching?
Yes, further sign matching would do good for us. One way to achieve this will be by getting us into the church.
Okay, maybe I'll come back later.
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the sea ice. She looks up as you approach.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean.
I'll help you, alright?
Great. Let us know if there's any progress, will ya? We've been waiting for weeks here.
Your associates tried to use me to set up a drug lab. I'm guessing you know this plan?
I did, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth, which isn't much.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical delinquency.
You don't get to choose your posse, they choose you. Mine are idiots, but they're mine. I tried to talk Andre out of it. I even tried not to lie to you.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead.
I don't care, I'm loco. I just want you to know that I know about the plan.
Okay, but I still regret it. I should have been able to control them, and I will in the future. I promise. May I ask, what did you tell them?
Do what you will with your dance club plans, just no drug labs, please.
Thank you. I'll get them under wraps, I promise.
The others told me you went inside the church. What did you see in there?
Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in me telling you.
She's less prone to blurt it out, crab man, than the others.
We'll see. Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. Noid calls it a mainframe. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just stood still.
Go on.
And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab, down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know he was there. He was completely silent. He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me. Right at me. I fucking turned around and walked out. End of story.
Like a crab, you say?
What did this crab man look like?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell exactly.
Come on, she obviously could. She already went into detail.
Come on, quit stalling on me. What did he look like?
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that only made it scarier in a way.
A crab and a banger?
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw.
You were wrong. I do believe you.
Why?
Strange things happen.
Okay then. They certainly do around me.
I'd like to know more about your associates.
My associates? I haven't got much to say about them.
What do you mean? You must know something about them.
Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information on them.
To the cops.
Oh, what about you? Tell me something about yourself.
Me? I'm a silver bird.
High above and to the east, the cold winds blow over the feathers of an early songbird. She lands on the stone ledge of a tall building, her beak a silvery grey. A silver bird feels strangely familiar. Was it an expression? And if yes, then for what? Then your mind slips and the thought is gone.
Uh-huh. Okay. Maybe I'll ask later about all this.
Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but...
Feels like you missed something here. What was that about a bird? Forget it. Maybe later.
Actually, that's it for now.
Seagull up there? Remind you of anybody?
Kim?
What? Kim? No, it's you. You and the seagull are just alike.
Why am I like a seagull?
Think about the seagull's story. It's one of endurance and adaptation. The seaside was paradise once. They were birds of that paradise. Then their paradise became shit city. And what did they do? They became urban survivors, eating burgers out of trash cans, killing and eating pigeons. No time for that sentimental bullshit. They're hustlers, getting shit done. They're one pair of track pants away from gangsters, just like you.
Hold on. Have I ever eaten a burger out of a trash?
You have. The body remembers.
Fucking right. Whatever it takes to survive. I am the seagull.
Own it. Steal hot dogs. Shit in the sand. Whatever it takes to keep going. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut. The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open. Feels like electricity and a very small piece of nothingness.
Let's go.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum. In the heart of the city, in white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands. from beyond the glass. The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind you, it covers you from the wind outside. The ocean feels distant, its ebb and flow blocked off by the centuries-old pinewood sarcophagus around you. Cold air seeps in through the crack in the glass, cooling the sweat on your forehead, makes you shudder. In the darkness, you sense her eyes on you, inspecting you with their multicolored glass, as if you're a bug under a microscope. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You. No, she doesn't care about you. She only cares about her shiny sovereign's orb and her silk robes and getting to the aerodrome on time to leave.
It's compassion.
As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
This is Dolores Day.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records.
You knew of the place.
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
Okie dokie.
Okidodo.
A touch of absurdity there. Nice.
How did I know this is a matter of humanism?
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
Wait, what exactly is an innocence?
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit.
A tyrant?
An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
Is one in office now?
No, we are alone.
Okay, when did she rule?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
What else do I know about her?
Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Suresnes, modern-day Sir La Clé. Also, that she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed?
Yes! Big bummer! Boring history! Gotta keep it light, man! Keep it moving! Get fucked up instead!
Where is this coming from?
The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away.
Fuck this pain, Bratan! It's unhealthy!
No, you must know.
Okay, what else? Was she smart?
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
How come?
It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale, a costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history, the DeLorean era.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt.
I want more.
As did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even faraway Supra-Mawindi, altogether 21 of the 40 mundial nations of the time, immediately accepted Innocentic rule, even before her crowning.
Her crowning?
In a city called Advesperaskit in Vesper Messina, her homeland, the name of the city means evening comes, but it happened on a winter's morning, with the canals frozen and slush falling out of the sky. She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about an assassination attempt.
She must have been beautiful.
Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of underfeathers. You know this well, very well. Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Theriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was mostly witnessed by secret servicemen.
Then what?
One of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was not entirely human, but something else.
What?
Something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. We were supposed to come up with this ourselves. The man was reported to have screamed at the Innocents. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace, and that sometimes, while on duty, he observed her forgetting to breathe for over 10 minutes. This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology.
Was there something terrifying about her?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But terrifying, it's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
No. Was there something bad about her? I want to know.
You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day, constantly surrounded by her terriers. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then there were the resettlement programs.
What happened?
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by a military force she called the Army of Humanity, suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific, mare interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Yefreiter, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask?
Glowing lungs. That's fucked up.
Yes, glowing lungs are quite unusual. After that one time, they have not been reported to glow. You know, this church, the coast, we shouldn't linger. Finish what you came here to do and let's move on. This isn't a good place to get lost in.
An imperceptible tinge of fear. The lieutenant is afraid of the church. He does not know why, but he is. A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both.
What shattered this mosaic?
Unknown. A motor carriage, a gunshot, someone falling into it, or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break.
Who is this older woman?
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen Her Innocence Day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, farriers, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
The motto? What does it say?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then, along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, on human thinking. A tremendous sea change, akin to finding life after death.
Lieutenant, this used to say afterlife, death. After.
Death, life again. After the whirl, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
What is the RCM motto now?
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
I like this. Puts the fear of God back in the...
You are brutal and done.
There is silence in the church. He wants there to be. The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression. Hey, her Innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember?
What?
You have the Headless Fallen Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back.
What? Win who back? I can't win her back. She's a long-dead historical figure.
Don't be so pessimistic. Love doesn't die that easily. This isn't funny. You have a bad feeling about this one.
I should yes. This is a task of mine now.
So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for. A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
A radio computer. And it's turned on.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
Yes, but what is this strange thing?
A radio computer. We have one down at the station. No, I don't know how to operate it or what it's used for. Let's go.
This is the Ream Prefect radio computer, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible interim printer. The Ream Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used Ream Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the Ream Prefect is equipped with better noise attenuation circuits.
Wait, let me just investigate it.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, Log, February to March. This is the machine's filament memory. Press play to access its contents. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. Oh no, it was already glowing and now it's also making a sound? It's probably some alien CO-like technology. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good evening. Votre accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
This is a human interface. A retired person sitting behind a switchboard somewhere.
What's the personal log?
The filament you have inserted into the core.
You mean that glowing thing with a tape on it that said log, said Mar?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is this the personal log?
I swear I haven't touched anything.
If you are unsure, could you please take a look?
How do I do that?
Open the hatch on the compartment. Don't touch the wires. A current is running through it, but the core is safe. There's a filament inside. I need to know what it's called.
It just says log Febmar and nothing else.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
A password? I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint?
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Is it my birthday?
Still no.
This is the police. Please open this thing.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder for stress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that. Unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password?
I don't know the password.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
That sounds bad. A login attempt. Something a criminal would do.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
What's Fortress Accident?
The company on whose name the terminal you're currently using has been registered to.
Do you have any other information about this company?
One moment. Fortress Accident SCS produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
That's not bad.
Wow, so conceptual.
I wouldn't know. I'm only here for passwords.
And what's that? This interactive call-in radio game?
Any other questions?
What are you, a machine, or are you alive?
Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
Yvonne, my partner here tells me that you're here because radio computer guys are all paranoid.
They're merely cautious. It's my job to protect their filaments as a password repeater at the East Insulindian Station.
On an island on the river Esperance, a small woman, all skin and bones, sits in a room filled with audio equipment. Thousands of tiny lights are reflected back from her prescription lenses, like stars in the dark. Doesn't it get lonely, sitting there all by herself?
Doesn't it get lonely doing this job?
Lonely? Why would it get lonely? I get to talk all day to people like you over a warm cup of tea.
That's why she does this.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do for you for Fortress Accident.
Thanks, but I'm finished with this call.
Sleep well, Fortress Accident.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent. Nothing happens. The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Wait, I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. It seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow, if not blotted out outright, truly unusual. Sounds like the Pale.
How do I know what the Pale sounds like?
From recordings of the Far Pale. You've heard them. We all have. You can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow. Your voice is barely audible, not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. It's unnerving.
What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Not really, but it's extraordinary. I've never experienced anything like this.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing, on its premises.
Hey, what if it's something paranatural?
Please, detective, not this again.
He's trying to act dismissive, but at this particular moment, he's more open than usual to the idea of paranatural phenomena. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
On the ceiling?
Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away. It's climbing down, holding on the beams. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Where did it go? Prepare for an attack. You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. Is that a man? A man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The Crab Man.
Are you the Crab Man?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
That accent is Villa-Lobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in Jamrock. There's a sizable contingent of Villa-Lobos-speaking Mesks in Revachol. Hold on, stop it right there. Pussy? What's with this?
I'm not scared. I just don't understand why the female sexual organs have to be associated with weakness.
You really got a case of frayed nerves, pussy. And this usage comes from pusillanimous. Everybody knows that.
Oops.
Chill out, man. Here you could receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of that despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
I'm a policeman. need to talk to you about police things. I don't know anything about alcohol use.
Oh, yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here.
You don't know me. You don't know what it's like. There's something white pursuing me. White and very sad.
I was like you once, just dragging my feet to the next bottle. Shit was dark, Holmes.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
If the lieutenant agrees, then maybe, just maybe, you should pay attention. Look at these crazies. What is this? A fucking intervention?
Fuck you, Crabman! You don't tell us what to do! Tell him!
Who do you think you are? Some crazy guy under the roof? What is this shit?
It doesn't matter who I am, Way. I'm just bringing you the message of the mother's love. She don't want you to hang yourself on your own stubbornness. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just trying to throw you off your game? Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways. 'Tis not an act, my liege, save him perchance he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
I'm going to ask you again. Are you the crab man?
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
To be fair, it's really more like a spider.
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Wait, did you also carve all those sculptures?
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something I just did to busy my hands. Now I use those same hands in service of something greater than my own restlessness.
All right, let's consider the context and meaning here.
I see what you've done here. It's as if these figures are trying to become one with the church, or perhaps with the mother herself.
It's all just for the mother, man. No need to overthink it.
What were you before you became a crab man and a woodcarver?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
So many people losing their memory. A certain portent of doom.
Nah, Ese, it's not like that. Best thing that could happen to you, losing your memory.
Do you remember your name, sir?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information. He's just trying to assert some control over the conversation.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
My name's Javier Dubois, and my place in the world is Lieutenant W. Frater.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
What are you doing here?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
This mother of silence. You mean her?
No. There's a new god in town, and she can be painted or sculpted. because she has no limb or even a face. She is the end. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
His adoration is beyond sexual. This cavity is something that no human form has.
What will happen once you drink from this perforation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
You sure you didn't just switch one drug for another?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
Faith is a kind of a drug.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
Hey, not judging. I've got drug problem myself.
I can see, and it saddens me. But devotion can save you. It saved me.
I think love might have been my drug of choice, and I think I'm still hungover from it.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
I guess you have a point.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
I still don't
I
understand.
know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
The hell? I still don't understand what you're doing in the church.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
You should sing for me, the superstar cop.
I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities, especially weddings. It's delightfully quaint, owing to its peasant origins. He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
How did you even find this place? This church?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me.
Right. I had other questions.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
You've been here a long time. Do you know why the church was abandoned?
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Could it be that he just doesn't want to discuss a police raid with another police officer? It looks like he truly doesn't remember. There's a vagueness to his sense of time.
Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside? Right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me.
Wait, do they have reason to be scared?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
Though he used to, a long time ago.
So, what do you think about the nightclub, that is?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Do you know where the other spooker is?
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
Viejita is grandma?
Wait, so there's another person living in the church and it's a viejita?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
And you don't know where she is?
That's what I said, Holmes.
How can you not know that when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
So you've got nothing else to tell me? How she looks? What she does? Who is she?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
search through her radio computer.
Have you by any chance heard the viejita see the password to her radio computer?
Too many times, Essay. You need it for something.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
I'm doing a survey of passwords and passcodes, identifying regional trends, in the interest of public safety, of course.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death.
That is true. But what comes after death?
What do you think of that? Makes me almost pity la niñita pequeña when I hear it.
Okay then, thanks.
I think we're done here, Essay.
That was an interesting conversation. However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation.